So you competed in your first jiu-jitsu tournament, and me as a fellow jiu-jitsu practitioner and competitor, I think that's really inspiring, given all the things you have going on. So I got to ask, what was that experience like?
Oh, it was fun. I
Fun.
don't know. Yeah, I mean, well, look, I'm a pretty competitive person.
Yeah.
Doing sports that basically require your full attention, I think is really important to my like mental health and the way I just stay focused at doing everything I'm doing. So I decided to get into martial arts, and it's awesome. I got like a ton of my friends into it. We all train together. We have like a mini academy in my garage, and I guess one of my friends was like, "Hey, we should go do a tournament." I was like, "Okay, yeah, let's do it. I'm not gonna shy away from a challenge like that." So yeah, it was awesome. It was just a lot of fun.
You weren't scared? There was no fear?
I don't know. I was pretty sure that I'd do okay.
I like the confidence.
Um,
Well, so for people who don't know, jiu-jitsu is a martial art where you're trying to break your opponent's limbs or choke them to sleep and do so with grace and elegance and efficiency and all that kind of stuff. It's a kind of art form, I think, that you can do for your whole life, and it's basically a game, a sport of human chess. You can think of there's a lot of strategy, there's a lot of sort of interesting human dynamics of using leverage and all that kind of stuff, and it's kind of incredible what you could do. You could do things like a small opponent could defeat a much larger opponent, and you get to understand like the way the mechanics of the human body works because of that. But you certainly can't be distracted.
no, yeah, it's 100% focus sport.
Yeah.
To compete, I needed to get around the fact that I didn't want it to be like this big thing. So I basically just I rolled up with a hat and sunglasses, and I was wearing a COVID mask, and I registered under my first and middle name, so Mark Elliott. And it wasn't until I actually like pulled all that stuff off right before I got on the mat that I think people knew it was me. So it was pretty low key.
But you're still a public figure.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to lose.
Right. The thing you're partially afraid of is not just the losing, but being almost like embarrassed. It's so raw, the sport, in that like it's just you and another human being. There's a primal aspect there.
Oh yeah, it's great.
For a lot of people, it can be terrifying, especially the first time you're doing the competing, and it wasn't for you. I see the look of excitement in your face.
I
it wasn't.
don't know.
No fear.
I just think part of learning is failing.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, the main thing, like people who train jujitsu, it's like you need to not have pride because I mean, all the stuff that you were talking about before about, getting choked or getting, a joint lock. It's you only get into a bad situation if you're not willing to tap once you've already lost, right? But obviously, when you're getting started with something, you're not going to be an expert at it immediately. So you just need to be willing to go with that. But I think this is like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I've just been embarrassed enough times in my life.
Yeah.
I do think that there's a thing where like, as people grow up, maybe they don't want to be embarrassed or anything. They've built their adult identity and they kind of have a sense of who they are and what they want to project. And I don't know, I think maybe to some degree, your ability to keep doing interesting things is your willingness to be embarrassed again and go back to step one and start as a beginner and get your ass kicked and, look stupid doing things. And, I think so many of the things that we're doing, whether it's this, I mean, this is just like a kind of a physical part of my life, but at running the company, it's like we just take on new adventures and, all the big things that we're doing, I think of as like 10 plus year missions that we're on where, often early on, people doubt that we're going to be able to do it. And the initial work seems kind of silly. And our whole ethos is we don't want to wait until something is perfect to put it out there. We want to get it out quickly and get feedback on it. And so I don't know. I mean, there's probably just something about how I approach things in there, but I just kind of think that the moment that you decide that you're going to be too embarrassed to try something new, then you're not going to learn anything anymore.